What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to our YouTube channel. Today we're going to be doing a Pompadour with a taper fade. So it's going to be a low taper. My buddy Mike over here, it's a little different than cuts I've done in the past. This one is a little bit more conservative. Actually, I should say a lot more conservative. There's not going to be too much of a drastic fade. It's going to be pretty heavy all around, just with a nice taper on the nape and on the sideburns. So let's get right into it. So I started out the taper with the cordless detailer, and now I have my cordless T outliner by Andis. And to be honest, guys, I was just trying a little experiment with these. I was trying to see which one was going to cut closer, which one could cut the most amount of hair. And I gotta say, I gotta give it to the cordless detailer. As you guys can see, I'm trying real hard to remove the same amount of hair with the detailer, or sorry, I should say with the T outliner as I did with the detailer, but the Andis T outliner was having a lot of problems, so I'm gonna switch back to my cordless detailer and just get rid of the rest of that hair that was sitting at the nape there. Now I've got on my number 3 plastic guard on my cordless babeless, and I'm just debulking here. I'm just going right up until underneath the occipital bone, and I'm removing all the bulk under there. So just creating a nice path for that taper. This isn't something I normally do, guys. I usually use my power tool for clip over comb, but I figured this time around I was just going to use my babeless for the majority of this cut. So I'm going in clip over comb. I don't recommend this. I was just trying something a little different. I would always stick to my steel guards when doing clip over comb, but I figured I'd give the babeless a chance today and just see what kind of a different result it would give me. So right now I got my number 1 guard on, and I'm just clip over combing the sides of Mike's hair and just debulking it. So just going with the flow of his hair, so going with the grain and just removing that bulk, all on the sides of his head. Now with the same 1 guard, I'm going to continue on with this taper. You guys can see it's already starting to take shape. So right where I had the skin line with the outliner to that number 3 where I debulked, right in between I had the number 1 there. So now I got my 1.5 guard, and I'm just moving up that taper. So just blending out any dark spots, any inconsistencies, and just making that taper nice and smooth. Remember, as you travel up the head, you want to open the lever, so creating a bit more distance from the guard to the head. You don't want to go too light, too high up. With this taper, I'm trying to keep it nice and low. Right now I have my half guard, and I'm just getting rid of that initial skin line that I had placed, and you guys can see it's really starting to come to life now. So I have the clipper open and closed as I move up that taper, and just trying to get that taper really seamless. So now that the bulk of the taper is in, guys, I'm going to be switching from my number 1 to my half guard and just making sure that everything is nice and smooth. This taper is going to be the focal point of this haircut alongside the Pompadour up top, which I'll be getting to in a minute. So make sure that there aren't any dark spots, that you take your time with the taper, and that it really pops. So here I have my number 1 guard, and I'm just going to start debulking Mike's sideburns. So I just took off that little sideburn area there, and I got my number 2 guard on now, and just behind the ear, just debulking over there. I do want the round behind his ear to be a little darker, and I want the taper at the sideburns and the nape to really pop, so I want that depth in between where the two connect. So I got the number 2 now, just debulking at the corner of where Mike's eyebrow is, and just around the ear. Just fading in that sideburn area a little bit there, doing the same thing on the other side. Just repeating those steps, guys. Just follow along, and I'm sure you guys will be able to achieve this haircut as well. And there's not much to it if you approach your haircuts in a systematic way. Don't just be all over the place. I like to do one side and then complete the other side 9 out of 10 times. There'll be that odd case where I'm just working right around the head, but most cases I work from one side to the other. I find in my head that keeps me on track, and I'm able to stay on task, stay on time, and it's a win-win, guys. So now I'm just going in, clip over combing with my number 1, further debulking. You guys can see that the clipper comb I have is angled downwards. That is intentional. I do want a bit of length at the front, and then tapered as we get to the back. And of course, guys, just repeating the process on the other side. As I get to the back, I'm going to debulk in almost a V formation, if that makes sense. When I style the top of Mike's hair into that pompadour, I want it to all gather to the middle. Here I have my cordless detailer, and I'm just outlining around Mike's ear there. These things are phenomenal, guys. I mean, I don't know how many more times I can hype this machine up. It's amazing. Here I have the cordless T-outliner by Andis. For outlining, it is really nice. You can see that really nice crisp line that it's giving me. I do find with the T-outliner, however, I do have to trace over my work to get it nice and smooth, whereas with the detailer, it's kind of a one shot. So I got to give it to the cordless detailer. As much as I love Andis and their products, when it comes to cordless outliners, the detailer takes it, guys, by a long shot. With Mike's sideburn, I wanted to keep it really nice and natural. You guys can see I didn't dig it out too much. I know some barbers would probably make that C at the front of his sideburn a lot more prominent and, really make that arc visible. I wanted to keep it just really nice and natural, so when it grows back in, the regrowth isn't horrible and it doesn't look super messy. It'll just grow in natural. So that's the name of the game, guys, just keeping it natural. You don't want the haircut just looking good for a couple of days, and then as the regrowth comes in, it starts to look like garbage. That's why I like to keep my cuts looking natural. I think it's the best way to go about it. After wetting Mike's hair down, I'm just going to go in and start to trim up the top. Mike doesn't like too much length off, so we're taking off about an inch, half an inch off the top, nothing much, nothing crazy. We really want enough length to achieve that pompadour, so Mike likes to see a bit of his curls come out when we style it, so that's what we're doing, just taking off about a half inch to an inch, and let's bring this cut to life, guys. Going at it horizontally, and then I'm going to check vertically. You guys can see on the sides of Mike's head, I am angling my fingers downwards. Again, just like when I was clip over combing, I do want the back shorter than the front, which is why I'm angling my fingers that way on the sides and on the back of his head. When you're cutting the top of someone's hair, guys, don't forget to pull the bangs forward and trim them. So many times I see this where I can tell that a barber would have just pulled the client's hair up at a 90 and cut it and didn't pull it forward. What that does is it leaves the bangs really long in comparison to everything else, and it's just flopping all over the place. That just kind of tells me that the barber didn't know what the hell they were doing when it came to scissor work. It's a very amateur look. It's a very rookie thing to do, unless of course that was the look you were going for. But let's be honest, guys, how many people are really trying to go for an over-exaggerated, really heavy bang that way, unless you're doing a photo shoot for some avant-garde magazine or something like that. So, you know, be thorough and make sure you guys do a good job. Now I'm just rechecking my work, just running through the top and making sure that everything is in place. There's nothing out of place. Don't be embarrassed to do this, guys, either. It's not like one shot, you know, you're gonna get it perfect right away. It doesn't hurt to run through your haircut once, twice, even 3 times after the fact, just to make sure that it's perfect. The last thing you want is for that client to go home and find that you missed something. Make sure that everything is addressed in the shop while the client's in your chair. And 9 out of 10 times, you're going to have a happy client. And better than that, you're going to have a returning client. So residual income, guys. Now I'm just going to give it a rough blow dry, and just to see how the hair's laying, in what direction it's flowing to, and how everything's going to be sitting. It'll give me a good indication of what the end result is going to look like before I wash and style Mike's hair for that pompadour. Now I'm just going in and doing a little bit of what I call shadow cutting. So I'm just running my comb upwards, and anything that pops out that doesn't belong, I'm just going to lightly dust those ends off and make it all nice and seamless. Mike's hair has been washed and prepped and ready to style. So I have the texture spray. It's a salt spray by Dudes. This product is phenomenal if you're trying to achieve a bit of volume and most of all texture in the hair. It gives the hair a bit of grit because it is a salt spray. So for clients with finer hair types, this product is ideal. So I'm just going to go in and start to blow dry Mike's hair now with that product in. That's how you activate it. Spraying it in and just letting it air dry is not going to do the client any favors. You do have to blow dry that product to activate it, as you do most volumizers and salt sprays. want to really exaggerate Mike's bangs, so I really want that flow to start at the front, so it really just accentuates the rest of that pompadour. So I'm gonna over direct it and then blow dry it back again, and just really achieve the most amount of height in the front there. And then as it travels backwards, it starts to taper in, just the same way I was clip over combing it and scissor over combing it, you know, angling downwards. This is what that was all for, guys. So you'll see that shape really come to life now. The sides and the back are going to be blow dried back into the middle of Mike's head, just again to give him a more sleek profile. I don't want the sides bulging out. That wasn't the end result I was looking for, which is why I'm blow drying it back into the middle. When you're blow drying the back, you want no volume whatsoever, and I'm referring to the very back now. You want that just to lay as flat as possible, so all the height is in the front. The most amount of the height is in the front, a little bit of height in the middle, and at the back just on the flatter side. So you really want to see that nice arc. You guys can see Mike is feeling himself. He's looking, he's feeling like $1,000,000. I just ran over to my station to grab my wide tooth comb, and I like to run it through the client's hair when I'm achieving these types of looks, and just hitting it with a dry wax. This is by Kevin Murphy, so it's a hairspray. It has a bit of shine, a little bit more shine I should say than most hairsprays, and as I run the comb through it, the spray is just locking that separation in and just really bringing out the texture. I'm sure you guys have seen me do this in past videos. So that's it, guys. You can see this cut is looking great. Mike looks awesome. That taper is looking phenomenal. The pompadour looks great. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please give it a thumbs up. Please subscribe if you haven't. Until next time, guys, stay safe. Take care.